Although stress often produces distress, stress can also have some positive effects. In the short term, it can motivate a person to take action and enhance performance. In the long term, exposure to minor stressors can make people more resilient. Handling small problems lets people develop cognitive skills for coping, and even experiencing major stressors can lead people to develop a stronger sense of life purpose. So the psychological and emotional responses to stress has the potential to be positive or negative. But sometimes people cope with stress by engaging in maladaptive behaviors that are socially unacceptable or interfere with a person's ability to function in daily life, or learn new things like withdrawal or isolation or aggression. Negative emotional stress can also lead to rumination, continued attention to the causes and symptoms of one's distress without considering solutions to it. It can also lead people to seek out catharsis, the intense release of pent-up negative emotions to reduce stress. But although it's intended to be helpful, catharsis does not reduce stress, and may actually even make people feel angrier. Healthy coping strategies either focus on the cause of the stress itself, called problem-focused coping, or regulating one's own response to the stressor, called emotion-focused coping. Problem-focused coping is useful for dealing with stressors that are at least somewhat controllable, like how you can handle a major class presentation by preparing carefully. But it's less helpful for stressors that are out of people's control. Emotion-focused coping strategies center on regulating emotions or unpleasant physical arousal. It includes strategies such as distraction, exercise, meditation, or seeking social support. These types of strategies typically predict lower levels of stress. But emotion-focused coping can also include avoidance, denial, and venting emotions. Although nice in the short term, relying heavily on them predicts anxiety and depression. People often use multiple coping strategies to deal with the stressors in their lives. Like a student preparing for an exam might study, exercise, and meditate. In addition to the fight-or-flight response to stress, people also react to life stressors by seeking or providing social support, a phenomenon known as the tend and befriend response. This response reduces physical and emotional consequences of stress and strengthens relationships. Through these relationships, people often gain insight into how to deal with their stress more effectively, or feel a sense of personal growth and recovery. Social support also has a protective effect. People with strong social support are overall less susceptible to the negative effects of stress, and they tend to have lower blood pressure, lower stress hormones, and a stronger immune system. Even owning a pet, which can provide comfort, relaxation, and companionship, can have a positive influence on how people experience and cope with stress. How a person responds to stress depends on many different factors, including personality, explanatory style, and locus of control. People with type A personality, which is characterized by competitiveness, self-criticism, time urgency, and hostility, tend to have angry responses to stressful situations, which serves to both bring more stress into their lives and also puts a strain on their bodies. This response is not seen as strongly in people with type B personalities, which is characterized by agreeableness, self-reflection, and an easygoing approach to life. People who score highly on personality traits like neuroticism, being highly aware of potential threats and being quick to experience negative emotions, also react more strongly to stressful situations. Explanatory style, which is also called attributional style, refers to how people perceive the causes of events in their lives. There are three components of explanatory style: stability, stable or unstable, locality, global or local, and internality, internal or external. Optimists are likely to interpret negative events as unstable, likely to change, local, specific to one situation, and external, caused by something other than themselves. So an optimistic student may explain a bad grade on a test as a freak occurrence in a single subject due to a terrible professor. Pessimists are likely to interpret negative events as stable, unlikely to change, global, influencing many situations in their life, and internal, their own fault. A student with this explanatory style would see the bad grade as evidence that they're going to fail this class and get terrible grades in all of their classes. Overall, students with a stable, global, and internal explanatory style react more strongly to stress and are more likely to suffer from anxiety and depression. Locus of control refers to the degree to which people believe they have control over the outcomes of events in their lives. People with an internal locus of control feel that they can shape outcomes, and as a result, they often look for ways to change or reduce their stressful situations. People with an external locus of control feel helpless, seeing themselves as at the mercy of fate or other people. They're less likely to use active problem-solving strategies and more likely to experience stress as a result. Locus of control is related to the concept of learned helplessness, a persistent sense of powerlessness learned by experiencing uncontrollable negative life events, leading people to continue to behave in helpless ways even if the situation changes and they are able to exert control. Folks who grew up with uncontrollable problems, such as having abusive parents or living in poverty, often show this trait. By the time they're old enough to make changes, they've internalized the lesson that there's no point in even trying.